Howdy, this is Alex from A&R Design, and today decided to pull one out of the back of one of the safes because Print, Shoot, Repeat did a video on a MAC-11, or a Mac. Rantham did a couple videos on Macs. I might have forgot we had a Mac. This is an original 1986 SWD M11-9 MAC-11. It comes in semi-automatic and full auto. It has a 180-degree rotating selector back here. MAC-11s are an open bolt design, so they stay open bolt. When you pull trigger, drops bolt. The safety on this gun is right here. Slides forward, trigger's operational. Open bolt designs are cool, but sketchy. So if you want to carry this cocked and hot in the safe position, that bolt carrier is hung in the rear, ready to go. The reason why I bought the Lage is because you could mount optics to it, and there's also a buffer system, a rubber block buffer system inside that you can actually augment the rate of fire. It just, a bigger, heavier, counterweighted bolt carrier slows down the gun, and then you can slow it and speed it up depending on what bushings you have in the upper receiver. Again, this is like the original configuration I built out, like, now it's probably 7 or 8 years ago I built this out. So it has a low MRO, original MRO on it. Nothing really has been updated on this. I could definitely go into building this out with a nice little laser setup and having it for pigs. This can is a quiet can, but it's super gassy. It would be cool to have like a higher flow 9mm can adapted for this. It is 1/2 by 28 thread on the Lage barrel. And I do have the Lage grip, which is huge. You can see how big this grip is, but this grip is to cover and create a better ergonomics than the factory Mac grip. MAC-11s came in a couple different flavors back in the day. You could get ones that would take Sten mags. There was other Macs that took different types of mags. I think the popular magazine for Macs that did not fit the Sten were Shockwave mags. And I can't remember what they were blueprinted to. It might have been a Swedish K, because I have seen Macs with Suomi mags. But that also might be the Lage upper receiver that takes the Suomi. So Lage has a bunch of different upper receivers. You can basically take your pre-band lower, and Lage has 5.56 kits. I believe they have belt-fed kits, Suomi 9mm kits. So you could basically evolve the gun that you want just off of your transferable lower receiver. So that's pretty cool. We also have the original upper receiver for this and the original suppressor. So it's all matching. When I bought it, gosh, this might have been like 2014, I think. Paid $4,200. It came with the suppressor. It was a 2-stamp Form 4. Suppressor and machine gun and 4 magazines. Again, the original receiver is like pretty beat to shit. It's got some warping and galling on the top because the original charging handle snapped off and failed and it would bind. I had to replace a lot of parts in this gun, including the sear and the trip and everything internally, because they all broke because the original SWD parts were super soft pieces of shit. So I've replaced a lot in it. This can is really interesting. This is the serialized component here. This section is removable. This end cap comes off, and there's a series of wipes inside. If you don't know what wipes are, they're pretty much rubber pieces of rubber that have a little crisscross cut in it, and then when you shoot it, the 9mm, oh my God, the 9mm projectile kind of hones the end of it. So it's a really weird can. In basically the blast chamber, it's full of like rivets and like a Brillo pad type steel wool in here. And this is a nightmare to replace. Then it has more of a traditional baffle stack in this section of the can. Oh, I don't want to lose anything. So in this part of the can, you probably can't see it, but it's more of a traditional baffle stack. You got 2 flow-through holes and the larger ID for the suppressor itself. The wipes that I was talking about are actually in the end cap. There's a Jesus clip in this end cap, and you can see the wipes that are inside are completely melted. I didn't replace them. I basically just melted them together. So I need to get a little punch set and make some fresh wipes for the end. Wipes aren't baffles. They're just pieces of rubber that are either tighter diameter or have a little crisscross in it, and the bullet passes through the wipes, opening it up over time. Very quickly, actually. A mag will eat your wipes up. But it just creates a nice tighter tolerance, and it traps gases and sound in this long can. This upper receiver, it runs fast. It's probably 1,150 to 1,200 rounds per minute, whereas the Lage setup that we have is sitting closer to like 850, 900. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, we'll get to shooting. And a quick shout out to Tomahawk Strategic Solutions. Thanks for the cool ass sweatshirts, man. Appreciate it. All right. That was 115 grain. It's gassy. You'll hear rate of fire changes in this because it's sluggish. It's a heavy bolt carrier. Haven't cleaned it in 8 years. I threw some lube in there this morning just to make sure it's going. I mentioned that these mags are super stiff Sten mags, and that Lage upper, nothing's really moved in a while, so it's a little grumpy. So because of open bolt, empty is closed. Honestly, the Lage upper is cool, but it's really boring. We're gonna switch to the factory upper. So push that in. It's a little latch pin. So it'll latch on one side. Take this out. Here's the insides. I had to replace pretty much everything in there. That was so galled that you can see it's got a little bit of rolling on the edge. The original factory part was so bad you couldn't even tell it was the original part. But yep, just slides into the back of the receiver, drops in, pin goes in the front. We are good to go. So the only downside to this stock is this is for a higher cheek weld configuration for the Lage upper. I will be switching probably to a different Lage stock because this does have the original collapsible wire stock that goes into it. Because of that though, I can't actually line up my iron sights with this, so it's gonna be a quick guesswork. It's gonna be a little quick guesswork getting it on target, but that's okay. We'll just kind of wing it. Oh, it doesn't like these bullets. The Jello shots are a little clunky. God, that's gassy. Crying at one side of my eye. That's ignorant. That's so ignorant. No wonder why narcos like using these on the back of dirt bikes in cities. I mean, even shooting from the hip, even shooting without irons because of the stock adapter interference. I mean, yeah, I missed a lot, but I still landed some solid hits. And inside 20 yards, anything in that cone is hurting. But again, you put a better stock on it, you can still run the factory uppers pretty Pretty awesome. This gun's dumb. I'm putting it back in the safe.